Hello and welcome to the February 9th, 2025 episode of Nick's News. I am your host, Nick, brought to you by Some Budget Studios. That's right, I'm finally putting some budget to this project of ours. We're live every Sunday, and I thank you all so much for tuning in or catching the replay on the Nick's News Facebook page and YouTube page. That's right, we are simulcasting between Facebook and YouTube. Hooray! I also know there's a big sports ball game going on right now, so if you're not with us live tonight, I do not fault you, but please feel free to check out the replays. This is a program dedicated to bringing good news to counter all of the bad news that we are bombarded with on a daily basis, with the hope of bringing a little bit of joy back to the world. Several of our articles are pulled from sites like goodnewsnetwork.org and goodgoodgood.co, but we do appreciate everything sent in by you, the viewers. Hello, Mona in the YouTube. That's better. Hi, Nick and Donna. Yes, so we had some technical difficulties. I tried to get everything up and running, and for some reason, OBS would not connect with Facebook. I had to go through and change a few settings and update the stream key, but the stream key was the same, so not sure what happened there, but got it all working, so here we are. Let's get into our stuff. News brew for tonight. Bourbon County brand Macaroon Stout by Goose Island Beer Co. This is a wonderful 14.6% ABV high-octane Imperial Stout that was aged in bourbon barrels with coconut, ginger, cocoa nibs, and natural flavors. These beers, the Bourbon County brand stouts, only come out once a year on Black Friday, and the variants are out of this world. I am looking forward to this. These are each brewing masterpieces. So, we have a bottle, so we need the Battle Song bottle opener. Ooh, producer Donna got 0 notifications that we went live. Oh boy, well, that sucks. Ooh, I just blew the gain with the clickies from the Ballast Song bottle opener. Come on. Here we go. We have a Imperial Stout, so of course the Harpoon Snifter comes out. And we'll get into the theatrics of a good 20-second pour. And we'll have a little bit of left in the bottle. Whoo, that boozy. That is very boozy. Shoutouts. Pirate Cat's Treasure firmly believes everyone deserves the opportunity to be beautiful, fun, funky, sparkly, geeky, strong, or whatever makes you feel awesome. Within a budget that won't hurt, of course. They love helping you express who you truly are. You can check them out for handmade jewelry, dice boxes, and home decor, and we have links in the descriptions. So to Pirate Cat's Treasure, yeah. Hey, Julie in the Facebook chat, 0 notifications again. Wow. So whatever happened, it definitely screwed everything up. Castle says hi, he has been healing up really good. Check up Tuesday. Very cool, Julie. Best wishes to Castle. Castle featured on one of our Nick's Newsies Flora and Fauna posts on Tuesday. Castle is a beautiful little black cat that Julie owns, and he recently had some dental work, so good to hear that he is good. Cheers to Castle. Wow. That is a very strong, very big stout, and it is not afraid to throw its weight around. My gosh. Oh, but it is there. The coconut and the ginger. Oh my gosh, that is good. We need to come up with a name for our furry Nick's Newsies. Yes, we do. Let me lower this just a tiny bit. There we go. Okay, so other shout out that we have, hello and welcome and thank you to all of our new followers this week. Nick's News continues to grow, and I saw our follower numbers are on the rise again. So to everybody that has followed Nick's News and is either catching the replays or tuning in live with us on Sundays, thank you all so much for joining. To all of you, cheers. News quote: even if you fall on your face, you're still moving forward. That quote comes from Victor Kiam, who was an American entrepreneur and a TV spokesman for Remington Products and was the owner of the New England Patriots football team from 1988 to 1991. My family is all from New England, so I happen to be a Patriots fan. So it was really cool to see that quote. And also, again, even if you fall on your face, you're still moving forward. Forward progress isn't exactly always what we make it out to be or what we hope it to be, but sure enough, even if you fall on your face, you're still moving forward. To Victor Kiam for that news quote. Cheers. Julie in the Facebook chat, I can relate to that quote. Julie, I think we all can. Bug update, Elmira's dreaming of hugs and kisses. Sue is dreaming of my demise. And Ripley is dreaming of scaring small children, because, Lord knows, she scares me. I'd like to say a thank you to Joey Aarons, one of our Nick's Newsies, who on our last episode, our 2nd of February episode, he asked a question that really made me think about our mantis situation. At the time, we had our 2 remaining Chinese mantises, the Kurgan and Droopy, battling it out to see who would become Mantis McCloud, who would be the one. And Joey asked a very thought-provoking and very simple question. He asked, why are you doing that? And I really struggled with it at the time, and I struggled with it after. In fact, after the episode was done, I made Droopy a new home. So if you look behind me, you'll see that we have our original mantis tank, which is the far one, and right next to it is a new mantis tank, and that is the home of Droopy. They have been separated now. They are doing very well. Both are eating and are very good. The Kurgan also got floppy abdomen syndrome, but today I managed to start him on the road for clearing that up. And if you look right over my head, creepy little Ripley is right behind me now. And Ripley has let me know in their own way that maybe they don't like this new setup. There have been some clicks, there have been some clacks, and some night sounds that could give parents nightmares. So, as a bug parent, I'll put up with it, and I'll just keep the door closed at night so I don't hear most of it. But Joey, thank you very much for bringing that up. Producer Donna in the Facebook chat. I am Mantis MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod. I was born in 1518 in the village of Glenfinnan on the shores of Lochshile, and I am immortal. But Joey, thank you very much for that question of why we were doing what we were doing, and eventually influencing me to make a second terrarium for little Droopy. So, cheers. Cue Who Wants to Live Forever by Queen from Julie. Fantastic. Alright, I know sports ball's going on, so let's get to our news. Our good news. Our broadcast is broken up into 4 major categories, and those categories are science and technology, health and medicine, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals, and lastly, wholesome notes, the really nice, touchy-feely articles we like to end on. So we're going to start things off in category 1, science and technology. I called this one City-Sized Heat Sink. I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. Eliza made it in the Facebook chat. Hello, Eliza. Oh, yes, and to anybody, please note that Nick's News does have an Instagram page, and I actually tend to post a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, including bug updates. So I've been doing some pictures of the mantises, and Droopy and the Kurgan are not very little anymore. They're getting big. So check out our Instagram for behind-the-scenes stuff, sneak peeks on our news brews, and just general stuff behind the scenes for our show and our broadcast. So Eliza, ain't no grave can hold me down. Okay, Eliza, hoping you're all right. All right, on to the article. Geneva's homes will be heated by recycled energy from this revolutionary Swiss data center. This was posted to Euronews on the 30th of January 2025, and it was written by Rebecca Ann Hughes. A Swiss data center inaugurated this week will use recycled energy to generate heat for homes in that area. Geneva-based Infomaniac has been recovering 100% of the electricity it uses since November of 2024. The recycled power will be able to fuel the centralized heating network in the canton of Geneva and benefit around 6,000 households. The center is currently operating at 25% of its potential capacity. It aims to reach full capacity by 2028. The data center hopes to point to a greener way of operating in the electricity-heavy cloud industry. In the real world, data centers convert electricity into heat. With the exponential growth of the cloud, this energy is currently being released into the atmosphere and wasted. Boris Siegenthaler, Infomaniac's founder and chief strategy officer, told news site Finanznachrichten. Oh, jeez, there's going to be a lot of Dutch and German stuff. Finanznachrichten. I think that's how that's pronounced. There is an urgent need to upgrade this way of doing things, to connect these infrastructures to heating networks and adapt building standards, they say. Infomaniac has received several awards for the energy efficiency of its complexes, which operate without air conditioning, a rarity for hot data centers. The company also builds infrastructure underground so that it doesn't have an impact on the environment. Oh, ain't no grave can hold me down is a line from the song. I haven't heard that song in so long, producer Donna. Come on. At Infomaniac, all the electricity that powers equipment like servers, inverters, and ventilation is converted into heat at a temperature of around 40 to 45 degrees Celsius, which is pretty hot. This is then channeled to an air-water exchanger, which filters it into a hot water circuit. Heat pumps are used to increase its temperature to 67 degrees in the summer and 85 degrees Celsius in the winter. When the center is operating at full capacity, it will supply Geneva's heating network with 1.7 megawatts, the amount needed for 6,000 households per year or for 20,000 people to take a 5-minute shower every day. This means the canton of Geneva can save 3,600 tons of CO2 equivalent, TCO2EQ, of natural gas every year, or 5,500 tons of CO2 equivalent of pellets annually. So this is huge amounts of heating going in that doesn't need to be provided by natural gas or wood pellets. This is a crazy good way to disperse this heat and use it for something better. The system in place at Infomaniac's data center is free to be reproduced by other companies. There is a technical guide available explaining how to replicate the model and a summary for policymakers that advises how to improve design regulations and sustainability of the data centers. So on top of that, Infomaniac has even gone so far as to just put the technology out there and say, hey, other data centers, copy us. Copy our homework. That is really cool. To Infomaniac for setting up a revolutionary new way to heat homes using data center heat. Cheers. The Nix Newsies pack for the fuzzy Nix Newsies. That would be funny. All right, that's all we've got for science and technology. We're going to get into category 2, health and medicine. We called this one Tiny Little Thump Thump. And there was a lot going on about this in the mainstream media. So it was really good to see the mainstream media posting some good news for a change. I will copy and paste this into the chat if you all want to read along. World's smallest heart pump, a game changer in keeping failing hearts going without major surgery. This was posted to goodnewsnetwork.org on the 5th of February 2025 by Andy Corbley. A heart pump no bigger than a fountain pen has just been approved by the FDA for use in children, having already saved adult lives in a revolutionary way. Cardiologists don't even need to open a chest cavity to install the Impella 5.5, the world's smallest heart pump that can keep a heart going during critical moments of heart failure or cardiogenic shock. 21-year-old Katrina Penny was born with congenital heart defects, but the transplant she received also failed when she was 19 years old. For 5 weeks, the Impella kept the failed heart pumping while a second heart transplant was secured. It does all the work for your heart, Katrina Penny told CBS Philadelphia. It did save my life, 100%. I named my Impella Ella, she said. It's very useful in the sense that actually it can be implantable without opening the chest. Dr. Katsuhide Maeda with Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, where Penny was treated, told CBS. We are so excited. This is a really like a, game changer, he said. The pump component on the Impella only consists of the very tip of the device, making it the size of a fingernail, something Penny says makes her whole ordeal just seem unbelievable. And there is a video from CBS News Philadelphia in that article if you'd like to see that. That is really cool. I had heard a lot about this new little pump clearing FDA for children, and it's crazy how small it is, how it can be installed. Just a real, like they said, a game changer. So everybody involved with the Impella 5.5 and getting it through and using it to save lives, cheers. Mona in the YouTube, wow, that's tiny. Yeah, it is small. Derek in the Facebook, that's absolutely amazing. It really is. All right, that moves us from health and medicine to category 3, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals. This article is kind of weird where we were going to put it, but we've decided to put it in flora and fauna because it's kind of flora related. It is a Raise a Glass article, so it is a beer-related article, and it's a really cool one. So Raise a Glass, and I will copy and paste this in the chat if y'all want to read along. Also, hello, Derek. How beer sludge is being turned into vegan milk and leather. Ponder the idea of a beer well brewed, and enthusiastic drinkers at least are likely to imagine a pint glass filled to the brim with golden nectar, or in my case, motor oil. What they probably won't picture is the mountains of wet, sticky shavings that pile up as the largest waste material of brewing beer. This is what's known as brewers' spent grain, and there is an awful lot of it. Around 200 grams or 7 ounces is produced for every liter of beer. Globally, some 37 million tons is produced each year, equivalent to the weight of around 340 double-decker buses per hour. And as we drink more beer, sales are expected to rise by a third in the next 7 years. Strange. Only more and more will be churned out. Most brewers' spent grain, around 70% of it, is currently repurposed as cattle feed, while 10% is used to make biogas. Around a fifth is simply sent straight to landfill, at an additional cost to breweries, where it rots and releases methane into the atmosphere. I've actually had people, like when my dad and I have brewed, we've used that grain and fed it to like the birds. We've made it into we've had people make it into pancakes and different like meal. It can be used as a flour substitute for a lot of things, like as a binder. It tastes good too, so there's a lot of purposes for it. We just have to get that into the mindset of these big companies. Inside this beer byproduct, there are a mountain of useful chemicals to tap, including a lot of protein. Researchers and companies are now beginning to explore how these could be put to better use. Swiss startup Upgrain is one of those. In 2024, it launched a processing system to turn brewers' spent grain into protein and fiber. Passed as a fit for human consumption by the Food and Drug Administration in the US and the European Food Safety Authority, brewers' spent grain is, after all, still just grain. The system comes ready for installation on brewery premises. Shipping container sized for microbreweries and a much larger unit for the likes of Brauer Locker, Switzerland's second biggest brewer, which opened in September of 2024 and is now building Europe's largest on-site facility. Compost. Yep, from Eliza in the Facebook chat. Compost is another good one. William Biskjar, Upgrain's co-founder, argues brewers' spent grain is a kind of hidden treasure in terms of sustainability and healthy nutrition. He says it could help to tackle rising global demand for protein. There's more and more demand for our foods to be enhanced, especially to get more protein and fiber into our diets, he says. Upgrain and other producers such as A Grain in Denmark and Biosol in Ireland are already selling brewers' spent grain protein and fiber extract to food manufacturers for inclusion in baked goods, pizza, granola, and even crisps or chips. It's also being used in plant-based meat alternatives, such as those launched last year by the Swiss supermarket chain Migros, and in a coffee created by Singapore-based company Prefer. Brewers' spent grain is a rich source of nutrients which is arguably wasted as cattle feed and produces methane when it ends up in the landfill. A host of startups are now using it to make everything from vegan barley milk and leather to baked goods, crisps, and even coffee. It even has the potential to be used in areas like construction, cosmetics, and paper. Not all these products are yet past the early stages of development, and products could struggle to see widespread consumer acceptance, considering they came from a beer product. Brewers' spent grain also uses a lot of energy to process, and it spoils fast, so scientists and developers are already working to overcome these issues. Huge brewers such as the Belgium-based Anheuser-Busch InBev and Chicago-based Molson Coors have even created their own vegan barley milk spin-offs made from spent grain. Molson Coors claims its Golden Wing product has a rich and creamy taste and 25% less sugar than other oat milks. This is an exciting new idea, says Beskjar. If you'd have said to me 4 years ago that brewers' spent grain would be a human food source, I'd have asked what you were talking about. And we're on the way to seeing upcycled BSG as a staple in the food industry, he said. Beskjar says he can see why some people may be squeamish about the notion of upcycled food, but we have to get across the idea that brewers' spent grain is not a waste product, he says. It's being saved from being a waste product. Making use of this waste product to make plant-based protein could in theory also free up the small amounts of arable farmland used to grow wheat, soy, and pea for human protein. Or, if it replaced meat, a far larger amount of land. AO, a biotech startup based in Tallinn, Estonia, is using brewers' spent grain and other food and agricultural waste products to develop an alternative to palm oil, a major driver of deforestation in Indonesia and other countries. To do this, IO grows fatty acid-making microorganisms and applies these to a fermentation process not dissimilar to that used in brewing beer. There are some caveats to using brewers' spent grain in food, however. Since it is loaded with moisture and spoils so quickly, using it close to where it is produced is essential. This is one reason why a good proportion ends up in landfills. There's not enough demand from local farmers to meet the supply. That dampness risks mold and microbial infection. In fact, says Beskjar, it becomes the perfect environment for bacteria unless it's quickly preserved. Techniques for making preservation easier are now being explored. Nutrition isn't the only area where spent grain could make an impact. Brett Cotton concedes that early efforts by his young London-based company Arda Biomaterials to create leather alternatives from brewers' spent grain resulted in something more akin to a flapjack. But the startup has since successfully used supramolecular chemistry to make several proteins from brewers' spent grain that mimic the animal proteins in leather, resulting in a strong and supple alternative. The color reflects the spent grain used, he says. Guinness and stouts, make for a naturally black material. IPAs and lagers, more mid-browns. Cotton argues that to date, many leather alternatives have either not been as environmentally sound as promised, or are not scalable enough to replace animal leather. In contrast, he says, Arda's first test material was made in a home lab using standard kitchen equipment, using the abundant feedstock that is brewers' spent grain. So far, staff at the company and a local brewery have wear-trialed this new material with bags and card holders. Current production is at lab scale, but a pilot facility set to open in London in 2025 will allow it to produce up to 1,500 square meters or 16,000 square feet a year, the company says. Currently, spent grain usually needs to be dried before it can be processed, which is both time and energy consuming. But the Perugia team, from the University of Perugia, Italy, they're working on a bioplastic that's derived from the brewer's spent grain. That's cool. The Perugia team has developed a means of processing this material while it's wet, critical to developing a bioplastic that could improve on the mechanical properties of those already available. The so-called Polymer project hopes to have its first product, perhaps a biodegradable film wrap that could be used in packaging and agriculture, within the next 4 years. I think the true potential of brewers' spent grain has been overlooked, because even when the protein is removed, there's still a lot of useful waste, the likes of lignin and cellulose that has the potential to be a raw material for other purposes, says Assunta Maraki, associate professor in biotechnology at the University of Perugia and Polymers project coordinator. And the extraction of its additional components seems to be possible by relatively easy, low-energy methods. But what really matters here, she adds, is that because almost everyone drinks beer, hey, there's just so much of it to work with. It really is incredible feedstock. So the next time you're in the pub, perhaps you'll find yourself considering how the undertaking that put the beer in your glass might just prove an unexpected game changer to both our diets and the materials we use. To everybody involved in utilizing brewers' spent grain to make new things, new proteins, new plastics, new leather, just different ways of using this material instead of having it go in a landfill. Raise a glass and cheers. This next one we called It Took Too Damn Long. And I will tell you that this article is included because producer Donna yelled at me until I included it in our broadcast for this week. Hey, Rebecca in the Facebook chat. I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. While Czech region is busy planning hydro project, beavers do it for them, saving millions. This was posted to goodnewsnetwork.org, and it was posted on the 6th of February of 2025 by Andy Corbley. Oh, did I reference that where that last one was from? I didn't. You know what? I didn't. That last article, the how beer sludge is being turned into vegan milk and leather, was posted to the BBC. It was written back on the 6th of February 2025 by Josh Sims. Yeah, I want to see a picture. Producer Donna said in the Facebook chat, I saw a picture of the beer leather. It was really pretty and didn't look non-animal. I really want to take a look at it because given, like, I brew beer with my father and my friend Richard. We brew beer quite a bit. And when you've got the spent grains left over, they really have their own colors and texture because of the different type of grain you use to brew different types of beer. So I really want to see it. But let's get to this beaver article. Gnawing through tree trunks and bureaucratic red tape alike, a colony of Czech beavers recently built a dam exactly where local administrators needed it. Conservationists often talk about species or landscapes performing ecosystem services that benefit human civilization. These beavers in the birdie protected landscape demonstrated this phenomenon to a stunning degree, saving the local government 30 million Czech crowns, or around 1.2 million US dollars. Management staff in Birdie were looking for planning permission for a dam and reservoir project for the Vltava River Basin authorities, but the process was lagging. That's when local beavers built their dam in the proposed location virtually overnight. When the staff woke up, their problems were seemingly solved. Those beavers are awesome, you have to admit it. Yes, producer Donna, they seem pretty awesome. They could not have chosen their location better, according to Daniela Lazarova at Radio Prague International, erecting the dams on a bypass gully that was built by soldiers in the former military base years ago, so as to drain the area. Beavers are said to be second only to humans in their ability to transform the ecosystems in which they live, and the colony is believed to consist of just 8 animals. Despite their numbers, they are remarkable engineers. The military forest management and the Vlatva River Basin were negotiating with each other to set up the project and address issues regarding ownership of land. Bohumil Pfizer, head of the Birdie Protected Landscape Area Administration, told Radio Prague. The beavers beat them to it, saving us 30 million Czech crowns. They built the dams without any project documentation and for free. OSHA may have something to say, or whatever the governing body and safety is over in the Czech Republic, but the beavers pulled it off. Ecologists inspecting the dams said they will last a long time and do the job of draining the area well, while offering good conditions for the rare stone crayfish, frogs, and other species to thrive in the wetlands. Beavers always know best. The places where they build dams are always chosen just right. Better than when we design it on paper, said Jaroslav Obermeyer, head of the Central Bohemian Office for the Czech Nature and Landscape Protection Agency, the AOPK. Rebecca in the Facebook chat, and they are so cute. Eliza, there should be a new show on Animal Planet called Leave It to Beavers, and it's all about beavers shaming humans with their coolness. Producer Donna would watch it, Rebecca would watch it, I would watch it. It really is cool. To those beavers and to producer Donna for twisting my arm until I used this article, cheers. We top our beer off. Oh my gosh, this beer is strong, but delicious. This beer is really amazing. Oh my gosh. All right, this next article was sent in by Nick's Newsy Derek. Derek, thank you very much for sending this in. We called it the second in 120 years. I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. Well, here's a bit of news because I did know this one. Eliza just said in the Facebook chat, did you know that there is a flavor additive in the U.S. that comes from the glands within the beaver's rectum? I won't say the name, but it is listed on food ingredients listed as natural flavors. And now, I'm wondering about this beer, which specifically says natural flavor. Julie asked, is it kicking my butt? It's not kicking my butt so much as it is just a really strong beer. 14.6%. High octane. Like the Eagles are doing to the Chiefs. I won't lie. While we were getting set up, I was watching the game, and I actually have the Gamecast from ESPN on my phone right here next to me. And I think I have been stealing glances at it. Producer Donna asked, what's the score? As of this moment, it is 37-6 Eagles, and it is 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Let's get to the article. Endangered Malayan tapir calf born. This was posted to the Point Defiance Zoo and Aquarium, Parks Tacoma website on February 4th of 2025. It's a blog. It does not say who posted it, though. So we'll just credit the zoo for this one. A rare and endangered Malayan tapir calf was born at the zoo on Sunday, February 2nd, marking only the second tapir birth in our 120-year history, our being the Point Defiance Zoo. The newborn, covered in distinctive white spots and stripes that resemble a tiny walking watermelon, is considered healthy. Mother Yuna, 10, is also doing well, according to head veterinarian Dr. Karen Wolf. The calf's father, Baku, is also 10 years old. Oh my gosh, its eyes are adorable. Its everything is adorable. It is adorable. The calf will remain behind the scenes in the Asian Forest Sanctuary, nursing and bonding with Yuna under the observation of the zoo's veterinary and animal care teams. The calf will receive a veterinary checkup after allowing time for the newborn and Yuna to bond. They estimate the newborn to weigh around 20 pounds, a stark contrast to its mom, who almost weighs 900 pounds, and dad, who's around 800 pounds. We're thrilled to witness this incredible moment and watch the calf grow, said curator Talina Welsh. Tapir calves typically nurse for about 6 months and stay with their mothers for 12 to 18 months. Their gestation period lasts an impressive 13 to 14 months. Yuna and Baku were paired as part of the Species Survival Plan, a program that helps ensure the genetic diversity and long-term sustainability of Malayan tapirs in human care. The calf's sex and name will be announced in the weeks to come. Zoo guests can look forward to seeing the young tapir calf later in the spring. Tapir calves are often affectionately compared to watermelons due to their unique blackish-brown color with white stripes and spots, which helps them blend into their surroundings. As adults, tapirs have distinct black heads and long snouts with varying colors along their bodies. Oh, in the YouTube chat, Mona said what the flavor is, or what it's called. It's called castoreum. It is used as an artificial vanillin, which sounds like the villainous version of vanilla. There's Vanilla, a hero, a champion of the kitchen, and its evil, dark opponent, Vanillin. It's rarely used in food anymore. My favorite Canadian lip balm has a flavor called beaver butts. No castoreum used. That's funny. Malayan tapirs are classified as endangered by the International Union for Conservation of Nature, the IUCN, with populations declining due to habitat loss caused by deforestation and human development. Native to Southeast Asia, these gentle herbivores play a crucial role in their ecosystems by dispersing seeds and maintaining forest diversity. For updates on the calf and other zoo news, you can follow them on their social media, and we do have links in the descriptions. So to Derek for sending in that article about the birth of a new endangered Malayan tapir calf, and to the Point Defiance Zoo and Aquarium for all of your work in conservation. Cheers. It is so stinking cute. All right, with that, we're going to go from flora and fauna to category 4, the wholesome notes. We call this first one Made with Love. And I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. Group in Sault Ste. Marie about to reach its 2,000th quilt for a charity milestone. This was posted to CBC News, Canada broadcast. I don't know what the other C is in that, but CBC News, and it was posted on January 26th of 2025 by Jonathan Mignault. It's French, which means I don't know how to pronounce it. So I'm going to say Mignault. I'm probably wrong. I'm going to get corrected here by producer Donna in a moment. A quilters group in Sault Ste. Marie called the Stitches from the Heart Quilt Guild is close to donating its 2,000th quilt to people in need. It's through a long-running program called Comfort Quilt. Guild President Donna St. Jules said members make quilts for new residents at the Extendicare Maple View Long-Term Care Home in Sault Ste. Marie. Oh, I'm right. Mignault. They absolutely love receiving these quilts, St. Jules said. It's wonderful for them because they get a quilt at a time in their life when they're feeling very vulnerable, when they're feeling very scared, and the quilt gives them the comfort that they need, and they know they are not alone. St. Jules said she's been quilting for about 6 years. I love sewing quilts for other people because as I'm sewing the quilts, I'm thinking about the person that I'm sewing it for, she said. And I truly believe that I'm transferring all that love from my heart through my hands into the fabric. St. Jules said the Guild also sews quilts for an organization called the Twinkie Foundation, which supports children from the community who need to travel to southern Ontario for medical care. She said she's glad the Guild will soon reach the 2,000 quilt milestone. It's quite a milestone, she said. We know that we've touched at least 2,000 people through this very generous program. Mona in the YouTube chat, when we were kids, we got kid-sized quilts from a charity helping kids. Loved that quilt. Producer Donna, my mom used to make baby quilts and donate them to the women's shelter. That's really cool. To everybody involved with the group Stitches from the Heart Quilt Guild, closing in on 2,000 quilts produced for those who just need some love and care and some protection and knowing that they're in a good place. Cheers. All right. Last article of the night, we called this one, This Charity Delivers. And I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. We almost called this one, Not All Heroes Wear Capes, but there's a lot of heroes here, so. And it's more about this group as a whole. Bikelist builds 700-person network of volunteers, leads bike drives to deliver donations to the homeless. This was posted to goodgoodgood.co on February 5th, 2025 by Megan Cook. And it looks like I just got alerted. We have a late shout out. Derek, Nick's Newsy Derek, has got a new job. Derek, congratulations. Cheers. I was not aware of that. But that's really cool and I'm proud of you. All right, let's get to the article. In December, nearly 100 cyclists took to the streets of London on the same night, their bags and backpacks bursting with food, clothing, items, and toiletries, to deliver them to people in need. Oh my gosh, we didn't say happy birthday to Ben. I didn't go back through the list. Jeez, his birthday was on the 4th. I don't think we said it back the other day. Nick's Newsy Ben, happy birthday. I'm so sorry, bud. I gotta make a list throughout the week of birthdays that happen so that I remember Nick's Newsies that have birthdays. I'm so sorry. And thank you, Eliza, for pointing that out. I feel like such a schmuck. All right. Back to the article. This only happens once a year, 7-year-old Ben told the BBC while sitting atop his own bike. And everybody helps the homeless. They go on a big bike ride around the city. I have everything I need, but other people don't, added Ben's twin brother, Ted. Some people, they need things. They need help. That's why I'm here today. The Christmas Ride Out has become an annual tradition for the C86ERZ, an independent volunteer network founded by local Londoner Verrill Paul Walcott. But Walcott's generosity is not just limited to late December. For him, it's a weekly routine. Since 2014, the graphic designer turned philanthropist has been using his platform to coordinate hundreds of thousands of donations from schools, libraries, and households and deliver them to unhoused neighbors. One local, named David, said that he was actually familiar with Walcott's videos years before he ended up on the streets himself. During COVID lockdown, I was scrolling through Facebook and I came across one of his posts, David told CBS Chicago. I just thought it was incredible. Years later, while experiencing homelessness, David was offered a job. After realizing he required work boots, he took a chance and reached out to Walcott saying, I really need help. When Walcott came through with the boots, no questions asked, David said it warmed his heart. Because of his kind heart and his help, I managed to build up myself again, said David, who now volunteers alongside Walcott as a C86 ERZ cyclist. Today, Walcott estimates that his volunteer network is 700 cyclists strong. Through his social media platform, Walcott coordinates Amazon wish lists for his homeless neighbors and then alerts fellow volunteers of drop-off locations in their area. The wish list, which anyone can view and help purchase online to aid in donation, runs the gamut of first aid kits, ready-to-eat meals, chapstick, hats, and toilet paper rolls. I asked the community for help, Walcott said, simply, speaking from things he's witnessed in the streets. There's situations where people's tents are being slashed, or people's tents are being set on fire. Their shoes and socks are being stolen. Walcott said hitting the city streets on two wheels helps them cover more ground and reach spaces that are not always accessible by car. With a bike, you can go to various locations very fast, or even change locations based on when you've been notified when someone needs help, Walcott told the BBC. Charitable ride-outs are becoming more common, and not just in England. A similar grassroots approach was adopted by cyclists in East Los Angeles over a decade ago. Bike PGH in Pittsburgh has been recruiting cyclists to deliver essential goods to unhoused folks since 2015. And Austin Bicycle Meals delivered roughly 5,000 hot meals to their homeless neighbors in 2024. 99% of people are just happy to receive help and feel compassion, Austin Bicycle Meals co-founder Claire Harbut told Modern Farmer. We just say we have free food and ask them if they like any. You'll see these people visibly relax when they realize we aren't there to harass them or yell at them for being on a bench we want to sit on. We aren't there to do harm. We're there to give them something they might want. Wow. Not all heroes wear capes. Everyone in this article is a hero. To everybody involved, from London to Austin to Pittsburgh, especially the focus of the article is C86 ERZ and its founder, Verrill Paul Walcott. To everybody out there, all these cyclists going about and delivering goods to the homeless in their times of need. Cheers. That's going to do it for our broadcast tonight. 7 amazing articles. Thank you all so much. Really some great stuff in there. So I thank you all again for tuning in or catching the replay on the Knicks News Facebook page and YouTube page. As stated earlier, we're live every Sunday, and our next episode is going to be on February 16th of 2025. I encourage participation, so if you feel inclined, by all means, send us news brew ideas, shout-outs, news quotes, and especially good news articles that we can feature on future episodes. I appreciate a variety of articles spread out across our categories, and those categories, again, are science and technology, health and medicine, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals, and wholesome notes. Just spreading it out across all of those if you send us multiple articles. C86ERZ has a YouTube channel. Producer Don is going to add the links, and I am going to add those to the YouTube pages that the Knicks News page follows. So that'll be really cool. You can message us on Facebook or our Instagram, or email us at somebudgetstudios@gmail.com. Links in the description. We check it daily, and I thank you all so much for using those systems. It really is great to hear from you. Feel free to like, subscribe, comment on our content. I'm not going to tell you to do anything, but every little bit counts. I can't thank our new followers, our old followers and new followers alike for everything that you do, supporting our content, because it really gets our content out into the algorithm, and we're getting joy and good news into the algorithm. Again, like we say, to counter all that bad news that we're bombarded with on a daily basis. So to each and every one of you, thank you very much for liking, commenting, following, just everything that you do. I am so appreciative. As always, thank you again. I love you all. Have a great night, and I will play us out.